Okay, Nia, could you tell me a bit about yourself, your family, like where you're from and where your family's from and their background?
Okay, well, I'm first generational uh, Hmong American. Uh, basically, um, wasn't born here. Moved here when I was 3 years old, and my parents were born in Laos. Uh, they had to move over to um, Thailand uh, and became refugee. I was born in Thailand during that time when they were refugees there, and then yeah, when I was 3 years old, we finally moved here into the U.S.
Okay, thank you. I kind of forgot to tell you what we're interviewing about, but we're focusing on intergenerational trauma uh, on immigrants. So that's our topic. Okay, next question. Has your family or community ever experienced any challenges in the past or today still?
Um, challenges. I think every community suffers through kind of or goes through um, issues. I guess maybe one of the issues that our community goes through is just trying to integrate into the American culture or trying to understand that we're no longer we're no longer living in the past where um, I guess not everything is as interconnected as they were back then, where everybody was dependent on their own uh, clan and group. Now it's kind of almost everyone for themselves. Not so much of there's not so much of a community anymore. I guess. Mm.
Okay, I could understand that. For my next question, can you share a time where your family or community ever experienced moving to a new place and experienced discrimination or unfair treatment,
Mm,
like such as school or maybe you went somewhere and you
um,
experienced racism?
I mean, racism is everywhere. I would believe so. Nothing that is like so um where it would like I would keep in mind that and it's so hurtful that I would think about it all the time. But I think you always have a situation where people comment or make fun of your ethnicity. Um, but in regards to being moving somewhere and then suffering for it, let's see, maybe the only place I would say is I guess Elf Grove. Around there, it's more. It's not so much of a large Asian ethnicity in Elk Grove, so maybe there's not too many people who live there are more accepting of the Asian ethnicity. But other places, there we always try to live where there's more Asian people, so that we're actually able to understand each other and be able to empathize with the other people and understand that, hey, this is, everybody here, it came from somewhere else, so they're more understanding.
Okay, that's a very good way of seeing it. I never thought about it that way. For my next question, uh, do you think culture and history are connected to identity?
Yes, definitely. It doesn't matter how much people try to deny or they try to say that, especially here in America, where everybody's like, "You're American," you know, um, they try to be part of America, but America's a people don't understand that America is a melting pot of itself, and that everybody here, yes, we're American, but you look at other people and you understand that yes, they came from somewhere or their heritage, the way they look is always going to define how how they themselves receive you. So culture, history is always going to play a part in how you uh, adapt to the world and how the world itself adapts to you. Yes, definitely, history and culture plays a huge part in how you see yourself.
Okay. Um, how has your family history shaped who you are today?
Um,
Like the Hmong culture or Hmong history?
I guess you could say I'm still I'm I would say I'm more modernized than some of my other uh, peers or cousins, but then at the same time I'm not I don't really there's certain standards that our own culture still holds the younger generation to, and I do adhere to some of them, and then there are some that I don't adhere to. I believe that we do try to adapt to the time, the present, and how our life is right now. I think a lot of women, especially in our community, are trying to adapt to that, and they're trying to make the the male genders in our community understand that now is a different time, and that uh, we need to change the way how we used to define our role in our community. I think that's. I'm not sure if that's what you were trying to get at, but or at least that's how I perceive your question to be.
Okay, that's
Is that
it's not exactly, but I see where you're coming from. I definitely agree with that too. Like um, males and females in the Hmong community, we're evolving, and we're not just um, playing roles as in like housewives and the men do um, the men kind of
are the breadwinners?
yeah, the breadwinners, yeah. I uh f- from the question I asked, I see it as just to give you my insight. I see it as you know uh from my knowledge of the Hmong history, uh, I contributed to my identity as we are warriors who fought with the Chinese for many thousands of years, and I kind of see myself as a warrior. So I try to improve myself every day to become more like them, and that kind of gives me the strength to keep going.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I mean, I guess everybody has their own uh, idea in regards regards to everybody has their um, during no matter uh, what time or what day it is or what time you are in your life. I guess everything during that time you might feel different, and another time you might feel different. So I
Yeah.
guess yeah. At this time, I guess for me, Hmong community is more of that the idea that everything is we just gotta learn how to adapt. I guess to me, yeah.
Okay. Yeah. I also see it as like our parents came here to the U.S. and they always push this ideal, the ideal of I came here to give you guys a better life. So that's just been integrated into my identity. Do you understand that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. For my next question, are there cultural traditions that your family and community uses to cope with past hardships?
Um, I think the only thing that still stands today, even though I don't really partake in it as much as I used to, or even when I was younger, I didn't partake in it as much because to me it wasn't. It was the same thing as usual, and is the Hmong New Year, which I believe no matter where you are as a Hmong community, we always hold a Hmong New Year, and that is I believe that's a coping mechanism that we did because it was the only way where we could actually meet everybody in the community, and a time for all of us to kind of catch up, take a break from our hectic life, and I think that no matter where you are in the world. If you're a Hmong, you're gonna probably have that, no matter how small your Hmong community is. That is a very important part of our life, and that's what even nowadays people do use that as a way to um, like try to
Kind
be a
of, kind of a happy time for the Hmong community,
yeah
right? Yeah.
kind of connect. It connects what we did in the past to what we're doing now.
Okay. Yeah. I agree with that. Um, how do these traditions help people today? I feel like we already kind of answered that.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, for for my next question, what is something future generations should remember about their history?
Mm. uh, well, I always said that the younger generation is and I understand that it's not through their fault or their own. It's also the older generation who's also at fault because they're not really uh doing as much as they can to help. But I always thought that as a generation, we should try, as a culture, we should try to preserve our language as much as we can. Um, and because it's once it's gone, it's gone. It's not gonna. No matter where you go, in the world, everybody has their own way of speaking. Like you said, there's Hmong people all over the world, but their way of talking is different from our way of talking here in the U.S. And if we lose it here, then we might not be able to communicate with other people, um, other people across the world, across the sea, because um, their way of talking is different from our ways, but we're also able to communicate with each other because we also have a similarity where we talk to each other, and I think that to me is the is the most important aspect of our culture that we should try to keep.
I most
Okay.
definitely agree with that. Um, you know, me personally, I've not the best at Hmong, and so I kind of wish that I was better, and so that we could preserve the language. Talking with our father and our grandmother the other day, I felt like it was really nice to finally be able to communicate with them. You know, because I actually thought and I actually used my Hmong, and that's something very important that we're losing, and our future generations, they won't be able to speak to the older generation, and you kind of lose the stories and the history and just Hmong culture in general.
Yes.
Yeah. Um, for my last question, what is one lesson people can learn from past generations?
Mm, I would say mm, something that they could learn from past generation. Mm, I think the newer generation are more. I want to say they're more accepting of the more modernized way of world life is, um, and they're not as closed off as the previous. So I think for that, it's actually something that they kind of understand that the older generation they're more closed off as to accepting of other race and ethnicity in our to be part of our community. And I think the younger generation, they themselves are more accepting. They understand that the world is integrating to everywhere, and uh, that's just it's not just our small community that is being being other cultures, other people that other race and ethnicity are trying to be a part of, and I think that's one thing that the younger generation sees that the older generation are really close off, and they're working. The younger generation are working towards to making our culture more accessible to other people, so that they have a better understanding of what the older generation went through, and they also have a better I guess they have of idea. We're trying to keep our culture alive, but also modernize it, and then let other people understand that hey, we are here, and that we are we're actually part of the world, and I guess that's their way of trying to keep our culture alive, which is to me is it's great. Yeah. So I think that's one of the things that the younger generation actually took from the older generation.
Okay, okay. Why do you think that lesson is important?
Um, like I said, it's just a way of how um, we we have to be a part of where we live. We have to actually adapt and no matter where you are, even plants and animal have to learn how to adapt to their environment, and that's just how we are. The younger generation, they have to, um, they themselves have to learn how to adapt, and that's how, um, and they understand that for us to maybe keep our culture alive, we actually have to modernize it or make it into a try to transform it into something that other people, other ethnicity and races are willing to accept, and will have a better understanding of it instead of just being closed off and have other people actually ostracize the community because they don't understand what we're going through, or they don't understand that why we do the things we do because we're not willing to open up to the world. So
Oh,
that's why it's important.
okay. That makes sense. Okay. Well, we have finished all the questions. I would like to thank you for your time, and I hope you have a good day. Thank you for your time, Nia.
All right, you're welcome.